Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and today's video is going to be an in-depth review of RingCentral's admin portal. So, for those of you who have been to my channel, you know that we do a lot of videos on RingCentral. Some of them are just me talking about the platform, pros and cons, and then different stories of working with customers that have RingCentral. And then sometimes you guys see me do actual demos with some of the engineers. So, today I have with me once again James Kukulis, Solutions Engineer over at RingCentral. How are you today, James?
I'm doing well. How are you today, Prince?
I'm doing pretty good, and thank you so much for being here. Really quick,
Excellent.
before we jump into this demo, James, could you just really briefly explain to the viewers, who you are and what your role is at RingCentral?
Right. So my name is James Kuklis. I'm with RingCentral, obviously. I've been here for 5 years now. I am a channel engineer, and what my responsibilities are is basically enablement of our partners. I'm not end user facing, but what I do is, again, I do training, I do sales events, I do marketing tools, and just stuff like that with the partners and anything they need RingCentral.
Awesome, awesome. Really quick before we jump into this administrative portal demo, for the most part, I think it's safe to say that pretty much everybody knows who RingCentral is because you guys are one of the bigger and most notable, most reputable voice over IP and communications carriers out there. But for those viewers who may be watching this that are like, what is RingCentral? I've never heard of it until now. Could you just give them a very quick and brief, you know, idea of who you guys are as a company and what it is that you actually offer to businesses?
Sure. So RingCentral, we are the market leader in what we call a unified communication space. What we offer is a hosted solution, a blended solution of voice, video, desktop applications, and messaging tools, as well as contact center, all in one solution, hosted in the cloud. And we're also a carrier, which we provide your dial tone for. So we, do provide the local access point. So you have one point of contact for all your communications needs.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, James. So, before I start asking James questions and we jump into this, for those of you who are watching, you know, if you were to adopt the RingCentral platform, what we're going to go over today with James, this is the portal that you or your technical team, or with the assistance of RingCentral's engineers and customer support staff, this is the platform that you would use to administer your actual phone system from anywhere, which James is going to elaborate on a little bit more. Before I ask these questions, actually, James, could you elaborate on that a little bit about how this can be administered from anywhere, how this is going a step beyond the old phone system technology where it required a technician to come on site or you had to physically, be on site to dial pound whatever to administer the system. Explain to them how this works in the able to be administered from anywhere
Right.
aspect.
So great question. So yeah, so all our systems are hosted in our data centers worldwide. So no matter where you are in the world, you can administer your systems because again, they're all accessible by the internet. Again, it's all browser based for you. So if you wanted to, log into your system, again, you could be anywhere. You could be on vacation. You can wake up in the morning and see there's ice on the ground, and maybe we're going to do a delayed opening. All you would have to do is from any device, go to service.ringcentral.com, type in your main phone number and your password. That will bring you right into the admin software, which we'll cover in a moment here in more detail. But that will give you access to everything that you need to do, administrative changes, maybe change some call routing due to, circumstances that, arise and stuff like that.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to jump into my questions for you. So, James, really quickly, it looks like we're already there, but could you show the users, the viewers, I'm sorry, could you show the view? We hope they'll be users, not yet, but for now, viewers. But could you show the viewers what the dashboard or what the main area of the admin portal looks like what it looks like and what they're
Mm-hmm.
seeing on the home screen of the admin portal dashboard?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you first log in, what's really cool about this, everything is pretty much we made it as easy as possible. It's very self-explanatory. Again, on the top here, you got a couple of different things. You got your home screen. This is what you see when you first log in. If you needed to edit your business hours, maybe your company greetings or call handling rules, or Maybe you want to change your caller ID if, maybe one office lost power in your building or something. You could do all that right from these shortcuts. But what's nice is you got the user details here, which we'll go in a moment. You got your main phone system controls here. If you do meetings and stuff, you'll have access to that here. You have your report screen, even billing. If you want to itemize departments or locations, you could do that here. And there's additional features here you can look at. But some of the other stuff that's really important, you could see here you have access to RingCentral's technical support 24/7. We're
Yeah.
in 14 different languages, so that what really makes again a really worldwide solution. And then also we give you access to all the apps. So if you use Microsoft 365 or you use Salesforce, you can download those applications right from here natively. And then also if you want to get more creative and learn a little bit more, we have all these resources for you, including RingCentral University is one of the things that I have to do to go through my training to be a RingCentral engineer. We have all the same classes that we take internally here listed for you, so you can be as much of an expert as you want on it. Or again, if you don't want to be an expert and you just need to make a change, you can give us a call 24/7 at the support button right here in the top right, and you can ask for assistance. You can call us, you can text us, email us. We're 24/7 there for you, any capacity you need.
Awesome. So obviously, with this being called the admin portal, meaning administration, or for the RingCentral user to administer their system, one of the things I wanted you to show the viewers is, could you show the area in here where the brains of their phone system is by way of call routing? Where would they go in here to see the way that the calls flow, and or if they need to change it or tweak it? Where would that be in this system to see how calls
Yeah,
are handled when they come into the system?
yeah, absolutely. So there's several ways of doing it. You could go here and hit the shortcut, but all the main phone system features are going to be right here. It's super simple. And when you click on this, it's going to change menus and you're going to see a couple of different things. You're going to see company info. And again, my system is set up for two locations. I have an East Coast and a West Coast office. That's what you see here. But if it was just a single site, I can click on this and the main site information is going to give me stuff like my company address. So in case somebody calls directory listing, the caller ID name I want displayed on my phone, and directory assistance info, like what numbers, what fax numbers to call when I need people. But again, if I want to route phone numbers, I could see a list of all the phone numbers in the system. So it makes it very easy. You can see some I got here going to my auto attendant. I got some going to specific people. Obviously, you're looking at a demo system here if you see some familiar names. But again, we make it very easy. You can route calls wherever you want, and you can even route calls based on time of day, as well as different schedules or even holiday schedules that you could set up here. When you go into the general settings tab, which is here, and again, we'll help you every step of the way. But again, you can see here, my company is set up to answer calls for all different hours. You can see here, I was actually changing. It's super simple to change the hours. I can do 9 to 5, 9 to 7, whatever I want. I pick the days. And then once I do that, I say, okay, I save that. And then where do I want to route the calls, right? So during the day, I'm just going to route it to my day menu. And after hours, I want to route it to my night greeting. So I can simply just come over here. I find my night greeting and everything is menus, right? So I could just come up here and do night and do a search and there's my night greeting and I'm all done. I just hit done and save. And you can see
Wow.
day menu, night greeting, super simple. And again, you can create custom answering rules for holidays and just by date or time, and you can plan all that stuff out a year in advance. So we make it really easy for you. And again, if it's too complicated or you just need some assistance to make sure everything that you need, you can always contact support here in the top right-hand corner. We're here 24/7 for you.
Awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I get a lot of callers that, some of them, I wouldn't say they're as tech savvy as somebody like you or I, but they're tech savvy, or we'll say brave and courageous enough to administer or learn how to administer something like this on their own. And I respect clients like that. But then you get a lot of people that they're not tech savvy, or they feel like something like this is overwhelming, or like me sometimes, even though they could do it themselves, they just don't have the time. It's better for them to get somebody else to relay, hey, I wanted to do this, can you make the changes for me? And so I'm glad you mentioned the thing about showing how easy it is to administer this, but at the same time, if you still feel like it's a little too thick for you, or you
Right.
just don't have time, you're a busy woman, a busy man, that there's somebody that can help.
Yeah, call routing is important. As a former technician, that's one thing you want to be 100% sure. Nothing worse than not getting your
Yeah.
phone called.
Yeah,
So
you don't want to get that
absolutely.
wrong. If I was going to experiment with something inside of my phone system on the administration portal side, call routing would be the last thing. I would experiment with
Right.
other stuff, but make sure leave it to the experts to get the whether I get my phone calls or not. uh,
We're here for you. And there's
it,
also cool validation tools in there too, where you can validate it and make sure it goes to the proper extensions, or there's nothing looped where it's just going to go around in a circle and calls get lost. So again, we'll help you every step of the way.
awesome, awesome. Really quickly, could you show the viewers what it looks like, where you would go in the system, and what it looks like, or how easy it is to add new users, like if you're adding new employees that need extensions or access to a mobile app or desktop app, and also just theoretically what it's like to remove them. My other
Right.
question, I'm going to throw you a curveball here because this wasn't in
Okay.
our original script. One thing that I have people ask me about a lot is, Prince, I got to remove, I had to get rid of an employee, or the employee quit, or, they left on good terms. But while they're gone, we haven't found the replacement. And I need to make sure that calls that come into their extension or voicemails they get go to me, or they go to another employee that is filling in for their role until their replacement. Could you speak on that as well? First, the how to add and remove users, and then what
Yeah,
happens
absolutely.
if calls need to be rerouted because of a specific staffing scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's super simple. All you need to do is click on your user tab here, which you see up in the top left, right? And you can see I have a list of users, right? So we'll come back to the second half of that question in a moment. But let's just say I had to add 2 new employees, right? All I have to do is hit add user, right? And then here it's going to ask me, are they domestic or international? So
Oh, wow.
domestic for Ring Central is US and Canada. And then anything outside US and Canada is international. Um, and also, if you're in Europe, we have a couple of different regions. We have Latin America, we have Asian Pacific, and Australia. So again, you'd all be domestic in those areas, but for this case, domestic is U.S. and Canada, and anything outside U.S. and Canada would be international. So let's just say we're domestic. I just come over here, and it's going to add how many users, and it's just again, it's fill in the blank. I can add 2 users. Maybe I hired 2 new employees for the accounting department. So I put them in accounting. I have mine segmented by department. What state are they in? I can say, okay, they're easy. They're going to be in, Colorado,
So with
right? And
that,
then I
a
come over.
quick question. That part
Yep.
right there where you showed what state are they in,
Hmm.
assuming that they're new or they don't have a number that's being ported over from a new system, would that also be able to detect based on the area code and all that? It would basically give them a pre-generated number based on the region that you've stated they are. Would that do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go in and do it this way, just pick a town. Like if I go in here and pick Aurora,
Uh-huh.
it's automatically going to pick 2 numbers randomly.
Uh-huh.
If I want, I can go into the phone number category and pick 2 numbers first that I like. Maybe they want to, try to get an easy one to remember. You could go do that first and then assign it to the extension afterwards. So you could pick and choose. But in this case, I just picked 2 general users in Aurora with a number, and that's you can see here. I'm giving them a new phone number, and they're at location A, which would be the Colorado office, or again, everybody's working from home, and then I can go in here and select the device. Now, this is really cool. I can go
Wow.
in here and select any of the phones that we sell, and the cool thing is we'll ship it right to that user's house, office, wherever they are. They could be on vacation, and we'll ship it to wherever you want it to go. Or if they don't want to use a physical phone, you can use the desktop app or the mobile app, which are free. Or maybe you already have an existing phone that's compatible with
Wow.
our solution. So once you do that, you pick it up. I'll just pick a phone here just to kind of go through the exercise with you here. I'll pick a 601. Right,
Yeah.
I say I want 2 phones at $399. Now my system's a little different here, just because it's an internal system. But if that looks good to me, I add them over here, and they're now added. It will show me the total of everything that I'm purchasing. At this point, you'll
Wow.
see here now I add the shipping information for the phones, and that's where I'm at now. And again, you would just populate the addresses here for each one. and then it's going to say confirm the order. I don't want to do it now because again, but all I do is confirm, recheck everything because I already have a million extensions here, and those phones will ship in whatever format you know ship them out of, whether it be 1 day, 2 day, and those phones are ready to go live from RingCentral. And the cool thing is, as soon as you hit that save button, if they log in with the soft phone or the mobile app, they can start processing calls the
They're
minute you
active.
hit save.
They're
They're
active and
active
ready.
immediately.
Even though they
So
may
that's
be
great.
waiting on their phone, it sounds like they still immediately have access to the mobile app and the desktop app to at least be able to get to work. So,
Absolutely. And then the second half of your question, if somebody was to leave, let's just say Jan Brady here. We all know Jan Brady from the Brady Bunch. You know, let's just say she packed up her bags and moved on to a new position somewhere else.
yeah,
There's several things you can do. The easiest thing that I always tell everybody to do, don't just go in and delete the extension. The best thing to do is just go in here first, go into the user details, and change the password. Once you change the password, the phone, if they have a physical phone on their desk, the phone is going to shut off, right?
yeah,
It's not going to log into the profile. And then you can log in to the app on a different phone at your location, or just log in with the soft phone, just type in Jan's credentials, and then you have full control of the phone. Because if there were voicemails there, or maybe there's a lot of active calls coming to the system, you can simply come over here and disable it. But you may not want to disable it first because you want to see what was going on with call traffic. But
yeah,
you know, if you wanted, you know, maybe you wanted to, you know, change the call handling of it. You say, okay, I can't answer two phones, but what I'll do is, you know, I'm going to shift all the calls instead of ringing Janet or desktop phone. I'm going to turn that off, turn off the mobile device, and you know, I'll just forward it to my phone, right? So I'll come over
gotcha.
here. I'll pick up, you know, I'll just say I'm Carl Spackler for the moment from Caddyshack, and boom, my phones are going to ring there after 4 rings. And I can also set the voicemail. Any voicemails that get left to Jan's extension, I can forward them to anybody's extension I want, in addition to this one, or just send them to me. So again, I don't have to check multiple boxes. So there's a lot of flexibility. Again, I always recommend do not always disable, because disabling could, you know, hurt business for you if you go in there just quick fire. Always change password first. That will lock any user out of their profile, no access to it, regardless of what they have.
Awesome. I have a quick question
Mm-hmm.
about something you showed a second ago. I
Yep.
like what you mentioned about the minute you go and you make that change, the
Okay.
calls stop coming in to that ex-employee or ex-staff member's phone. I'm assuming when you go in and change that password, that would also apply to their desktop and mobile app. It means they would not be able to log into their desktop and mobile app, and then
100%.
you could respectively go and reroute all of those calls to whoever you like within the company who's
Yeah,
still
once you
active.
change that password, it's going to totally disable the app from whatever device they have it on, as
Yeah.
well as the phone. If you have a physical phone connected to the system, it's still going to deactivate the phone. So the next time they pick it up, they'll get dial tone, but they won't be able to dial anywhere.
That's awesome. That's great for people that work remotely, obviously, because they can manage staff and administer the system from anywhere, from the comfort of their own home or wherever. But that's also really
Absolutely.
nice for, I hate to get negative, but that's also really nice for scenarios where you may be having a serious issue with a staff member, like a legal issue or a proximity issue, and you don't necessarily want to meet with them to regain access of those calls or
Right.
whatever. You have to do
And
it.
it happens.
You have to
It
do it
happens there.
diplomatically from the remote standpoint. So
No, absolutely.
awesome. One thing that I want to touch on until I get into some general questions for you, that is a probably one of the most important things that I get asked about, not just with RingCentral, but with any carrier in regards to the admin portal. Could you show us briefly what call reporting looks like in this system, and just how flexible or powerful, the call reporting can be?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got lots of stuff when it comes to call reporting and call you know, statistics and stuff like that. So that will all be found here up on top in the reports tab in the middle here. And you're going to see a couple different things. So I'm going to start at call logs just so you kind of see what call logs is. This isn't reporting. This is just logs every call that comes in and out of your system, whether it be internal, external, extension to extension calls. We log everything. So
Yep.
this way you can go in and see it. And you can also do a detailed search. If you wanted to say, hey, did somebody call me from a specific number? You can go in here and just do a search on anything from, say, the 704 area code. And you can see here, it's election season, so I got a lot of robocalls and stuff like that. And you can also see like results, and you can get a little bit more detailed information here as well. If the call was recording and you have permission to listen to it, you can actually listen to the call recordings
I,
there as
I got
well.
a
So pretty
question
cool
about that.
tool.
I want to
Okay.
I want to pause there and ask you a question. I see there it says suspected robocall. So if I'm understanding this correctly, you guys' system has technology to be able to detect if a call is like an automated call or some sort of robotic cold call from what I see there, because I see that it detected that it was a robocall, and it looks like you had the
Correct.
system set up to reject it. It looks like.
Correct. So you have a couple of different methods of doing that. If somebody gets through to your number, you have a block call at the extension level button where you can block any caller from calling. So if they get to you a second time, you can just hit block call. They'll never have to worry about that again. But we do also have we the technical term is stir and shaken, or shaken and stirred as like a martini. And basically, what it does is there's a list that goes out to the national at the national level of all robocalls that are reported and stuff like that. And we go through it with a fine, fine tooth comb, and we actually pin out which ones are robocalls, and we put that up there. We'll put up, telemarketer call or a robocall like this one. So this way you'll see that ahead of time. Like if you're in a meeting like we are now, you know not to pick it up because it's a robocall. We don't block any of the calls unless you have the permission to it, unless there's some kind of known, spam thing going on,
Gotcha.
that's a public
Gotcha.
issue, we can block that. But
Gotcha.
this, again, this is just call detail. This is nothing. These are not reports. This is just, every call that comes into the system to monitor. Now, if you want to get into reports, we have a ton of different level reports you can get into. Again, you're looking at my demo system here. So I'm going to show you half on our demo system, and then I'm going to show you something on our RingCentral uh, corporate system, which is really cool. But for privacy reasons, I have to show on my demo system here first. So what's neat about this is you can see different types of reports here on the left-hand side. The first one that I'm showing you is adoption and usage reports. And we use this a lot at RingCentral. This shows you who's using video, who's using message and collaboration, and who's making phone calls. So with our sales folks, they do reports on this, and they say, what are our most productive salespeople doing? What percentage of messaging, what percentage of video calls, what percentage. So this way you can track what your employees are doing at each level, and you can just see sample reports here. You can do it by department,
Wow.
by user, and it's really cool. Like for example, here I'm highlighted on messaging, but if I highlight on messaging, I can go down here and see which one of the agents is doing the most messaging and stuff here. Again, we're in a demo system, so again, it's not that sexy to look at because there's
Yeah.
nothing here.
Yeah.
But you can look at all the key performance indicators. Same thing with video, and same thing with phone
So
calls.
you
You
can
can see
break
what
down the
users are
reporting
making.
by from what I'm seeing here, you can break down the reporting as general everything, then you can get
Right.
granular like reporting by phone, reporting by video meeting, reporting by text message and SMS.
Correct.
That's pretty
And this
cool.
shows you here, like this call is my test extension here that you can see I'm using a hard phone. If I was making the calls from the mobile device, it would have the mobile phone listed there as well. So it's a pretty cool feature. You can see, how it's used, how many calls and stuff like that. But again, this is not the call reporting. This is just the adoption and usage of the product. So which is really cool. But you'll also see here, you could do reports on phone numbers. So again, I can have daily still, like if I have numbers, I want to see which numbers specifically I want to do a report on. I can pick those there. And then I can also go in here and pick all what we call our key performance indicators. And I
Yeah.
can see how many calls came in on a number, how many were answered, how many missed. I can see the trends of the call, what times they came in. So I know, every day I can see it trends it, by hour, by week, all depends on how you pick, the scheduling. You'll have daily, weekly, hourly, and stuff like that. And you could see each individual number with the phone calls associated with it. Like I could see this call was an inbound call. It wasn't answered. They hung up out of the IVR after 13 seconds, right? But
Wow.
if it was answered, you'd see the call there and the detail there. The other cool reports are performance reports. And this is where you really see a whole bunch of cool stuff, right? So for example, you can see here I have a whole bunch of reports that I saved. These are the ones that I use for my demo. So for example, I'm just going to change the month to last month so we get some data in here, right? So you can see over the last month, I have 7, queues or work groups that I'm monitoring here. And I can see in total, again, they took 23 calls, how many were answered, abandoned, and missed. And then I
Wow.
can look at the users within each group,
I see
and I
there's a
can see who the
percentage
top
too. It
performers.
even shows a percentage of missed versus answered versus voicemail. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. I can see the average speed of answer. I can see if they're abandoning during hold or abandoned during, park and stuff like that. And then I can see each user, how many calls they answered, how many they missed, and, detail with those calls. So again, really cool stuff when it comes to reporting. Again, I can save these and I can also subscribe to them
Wow.
so I can get them emailed to me. And then the
Automated
one last one,
reports.
yeah.
Let's
And then
talk
the
about
last,
that really quick because I get asked
okay.
about that a lot. So you're telling me there's a way for somebody to get like you can set a specific filter or a specific type of reporting outcome that you want and then subscribe to it and have it send you on a specific frequency like a what is that? Is it like a CSV file or is it a link or how does that work?
Yeah, you can basically once you save a report, you can subscribe to it. So you call it whatever you want. Is it going to be performance report or is it going to be on the company number, right? And then what kind of report it is. You can see here are the reports that I've already scheduled. So I'm going to do the main number, and I can select what tab specifically do I want added to that report. The frequency, again, I could do it daily, weekly, monthly. So I could do this, whatever weekly. Day of the week, I want to run it on a, maybe a Sunday. I could pick my hours, and again, I could do an Excel or a PDF, and then all I got to do is put in the email addresses that I want to send those to. So again, I could do it to a distribution group or multiple email addresses, and that's it. You just hit save, and you'll get those reports whenever you schedule them.
Wow, that's impressive.
And then
Before
there's one other
there's
report.
more. I was going to say
Yeah, there's one
reporting is a
report I
rabbit
want to
hole
show.
all in itself.
There's one report that I really like to show, and again, this one's off our corporate system.
Yeah,
Now, again, this is a little bit names are protected here, obviously to protect the innocent here. But
gotcha.
this is the same exact report, but this is off our corporate switch. But what I want to show you is the quality of service reports, and the reason I use my quality of service reports is because as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, there were 11,000 calls processed on our system just for today, right? So it kind of shows you
Just
just
11,000.
11,000 calls were made today. And the reason why I show you this report is because people are working from home, people are on their cell phones, and they may call you. They say, "Hey, Prince, I had a really poor quality call." We
Yeah.
monitor and we give you all the information on every call. We don't hide anything. We give you access to all the networks. And you can see here, all our calls are around the world here. We have
Yeah.
everywhere you could possibly think of, they're here, right? Worldwide, we're in over 130 countries. But here, I could see out of these 11,000 calls, what percentages of the calls were good and what percentages were bad. Now, if you came to me and said, "Hey, Jim, I had a bad call," I can click on the poor quality calls, and if it cooperates with me,
And
it's going to
get
pull it up.
and get
And I
data.
can do is, and I can get the data on the calls, what the MOS score was. So if the president calls me, he's like, "I was on my cell phone, the quality of the call was really good." I can also set an alert, just like a subscription to a report, saying, "Hey, when the president's phone gets, the cell phone gets a bad quality call, I'll be notified before he even hangs up the call." So that's what's really cool
That's
about these
incredible.
reports and the quality of service. So this way you can troubleshoot it. And he may have been traveling, maybe he was in Toronto using Wi-Fi on an iPhone 10. We'll be able to provide you with all that data right from here. So again, really powerful stuff when you look at this at the phone level as well as the video level. And this is what I wanted to just show you here. I can click on a video call or a phone call, and here's a call, and you can look at the poor quality call, and I can see that this person was talking on the mobile app from the Philippines, and they were talking to Darren, who was using the classic app. But again, you see all the
Wow. So you
detail,
can
what
see where they
devices they're
were.
on.
You can see where they
Yep.
were and what type of device they were using, which for anybody that knows me that's frequented my channel, I always people always ask me all the time, what's the quality of voice over IP? And I always tell them, I always say quote end quote 99.5% of the time it's usually never the voice over IP carrier, with exception of some of your carriers that just don't have great backbones, which are not to be named in this video. It's usually something on the user's end, whether it be issues with their internet, their router, poor connection quality. Maybe they're using Wi-Fi at a place that doesn't have great internet, like a Starbucks or a Panera Bread. But that's
Right.
incredible that you can see their IP address,
Yeah,
where they are in the world, and
and
what platform they were using.
yeah, and this is what you see here. I could see Anna called in from the outside world, and we're gonna measure the MOS score, which is the score that we grade phone calls on. But Kim, who was the Ring Central employee, had a poor quality call here, and you could see it was from the client side to the server. From the server back to her, we couldn't even get any data. But I could see here she was calling from Cornelius, North Carolina, using AT&T on the mobile app, right, using Wi-Fi. So she could have been in a Starbucks or a
Yeah,
Panera Bread or
yeah.
something like that, and she was on her iPhone 10, right? So now I can replicate that problem and say, okay, let's test it here, and then let's test it on a solid connection. So this way you have those tools. So again, this is really important stuff, especially when you're trying to troubleshoot it. And again, just really powerful tools that we provide for you.
Awesome, awesome. I'm glad you brought that up because that was one thing that wasn't on my list, but I think you guys are one of the only carriers that I know of that has an entire module in your admin portal that's dedicated to quality of service, to being able to see how good it is, but more
Right.
importantly, troubleshoot it on your own to some degree. Um, is there any other features, or I think I already asked you that, right? The notable features. I think you already showed me one, but just briefly, because we're running short on time, is there any other notable features in the admin portal that we haven't covered or that you'd like to really quickly just kind of show to the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool stuff here. And again, it all depends on what type of business you are and what you're looking for. But like, for example, if everybody's cost conscious here, but we have so many billing tools. Obviously, you can see the price of my system here. My demo system is obviously not $40,000 per month, but I was playing around with some of the licenses. I added 1,000 licenses onto my system. But you can see here we could do billing by department, by calling rates. You can see what you purchased. So there's really a lot of cool tools for billing. And again, there's so many more applications too that we have for our application. I can spend hours in the admin just showing you all the tools. There's audit trail, where if somebody went into the system and made a change and something got messed up, you can go back here and see what was
Wow.
changed.
You can go
So
see what's
there's
been
really,
done
again,
and who did
there's a
it.
whole bunch of great tools here. So if you want to see any of them, or if you have something specific you're looking for, get in touch with Prince. We could definitely, I'd love to spend some time with you or one of the other SEs and, show you around the system.
Awesome. And that leads us into the conclusion of our video. First of all, before I get into the outro piece, James, I want to thank you so much for making yourself available today and not only showing the audience or the viewers, but showing me. I learned a lot about you guys back at Administration Portal. So thank you so much for your time today and for making yourself
No
available
problem. Thank
for
you.
this. For
Thank
those
you.
of you who are watching this video, as James just stated, if you like what you see and you think, you know what, RingCentral might be great for me, but I'd like to see a little bit more. Maybe you'd like to see a little bit more of the back end administration portal. Maybe you'd like to see more about their mobile app or their desktop app, or just talk about how the system would work or look configured theoretically for your scenario, for your business, or your communications needs. I work with RingCentral almost daily. I can typically get you better pricing than what you could get if you shop them directly. So we call it the Prince pricing here in my office and with the RingCentral folks. So if you're watching this and you're interested in learning more, give me a call. I'm more than happy to hook you up with the wonderful boys and girls over at RingCentral to get you a dedicated time for you or your team to chat with them privately and see if the platform and the pricing makes sense for your business. If you found this video helpful, please like this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We upload videos every single week. Prince Rich, your go-to guy for the best deals on business, phone, and internet service in the United States. I'll catch you guys again in the next video.